Hey Hump Squad, welcome back to the Hump Day Hangover. Today we're going to be looking at Chappelle Show skits and ranking our favorite ones.
We're also going to look a little bit into the Mandela Effect, kind of dive into that.
Today's also the Season 1 finale, so we want to thank each and every one of you for sticking with us through the whole first season.
And a little bit later on in the episode, we're going to dive into Season 2 and try to figure
Shit,
out...
he's got a gun!
What? What are you doing?
We should have faded to black. It's the season finale, so that's going to be the cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger, but that comes at the end of the episode.
Oh shit, you right? Alright guys, today we're going to look at Chappelle's show. So, Joe, how old were you about during the peak of Chappelle's show?
I was right around 20 years old, I
Okay.
think. 2021, yeah.
I'll say, during the peak, I was 8th, 9th, 10th grade, I believe, and it was unbelievably huge. Like, there's no comedy on TV now, even close to as big as Chappelle's show was.
to Chappelle's show.
Yeah. So, we're going to look at our favorite skits. So we started ranking our favorite skits, and one thing was very clear. The Rick James skit, just far and
Bar
away.
none, top.
It was
Yes.
so high. There's so many quotable lines from that skit that we just had to make it number one, and then we'll each have our own top three, not including that one.
I feel like the Rick James skit, you can say that line, like you can pick lines out of that episode, and you can say them to people who, you know, younger kids that weren't even really old enough to appreciate or even know what the show was at the time, and they still get it. Like, it's universal. Everybody knows that. Like, that skit.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, yes. Yeah. What did the five fingers say to the face?
I would just go up in a man's house, start stomping on his couch.
Yeah, I remember going up in his house and stomping on his couch.
Yeah, I was stomping on his couch.
Yeah. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
That skit just had so many quotes.
It really does. It really does.
Okay, so besides that one, my number one besides that one is Clayton Bigsby, the black white supremacist. It was just so funny, just a concept that was just so out of left field.
Yeah.
But once you saw it, it was perfect.
The way he put that together it's hilarious, and it's an art form. You know, the way he always put together all these things, it was funny, but at the same time you could see like subtle hints of, you know, just like genius in there. Yeah.
And it was not for people that are soft.
No, not at all. That kind of, the Chappelle show would not ever exist in 2020.
No.
That would have been canceled first like 20 minutes of the first show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're young and you're soft, don't go back and watch it.
No.
You're going to have a bad time.
Please don't. Please don't. We don't need it getting canceled now.
All right. So, Joe, what was your number one?
My number one is Wu-Tang Financial. That, to me, was just... There's something about, like, how they meshed together these two different worlds so well. You know, you have, like... You just had this, like, white family over here, you know, and they were just doing it up just like a regular old commercial, you know, like, in these trying times, you need to make sure that somebody is on your side. I mean, it's so perfect, so spot on, and then they just cut away to, you need the power of the Wu. And just seeing these guys come in here and hearing that guy, you know, just like, you need to diversify your bonds. Protect your fucking neck, kid. It was great.
Chappelle's show was so huge. Like, little 8th grade me, I didn't know who Wu-Tang was.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, you can keep going. Like, the Lil Jon skit.
Yeah.
He was famous.
He was.
But afterwards, he was Lil Jon famous.
Yes.
That skit made him Lil Jon famous.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, yeah, Chappelle's show was so big, they could take Wu-Tang Financial. I'm just like, who is Wu-Tang?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember sitting and watching the Lil Jon episode, actually, with people who... It was like half the room knew who Lil Jon was. We all listened to the music, so we identified with, you know, the yeah and the okays and all that stuff. We laughed our asses off. But the other half of the room was just sitting there, like, scratching their heads, like, what's so funny about this? What is this?
Yeah.
And then And then because of that, they went back and looked to listen to some of his songs. And I think right around that time is when Usher's Yeah came out. So it all came together so beautifully to where people were like, oh my God, I get the joke now. It's hilarious. And fucking Lil Jon just boom.
Blew up.
Yes.
Okay, so my number 2 is Tyrone Bigum's on Fear Factor. That, first of all, I grew up watching Fear Factor every week. Every week I was watching Fear Factor. Just like, look at these idiots. Really.
Dude, people will do some strange things for some money.
They are really about to eat that.
Like and subscribe. Sorry.
They are really about to eat that. Yeah. Not even to win $50,000, just to have a chance at it. And later on in the episode, I'm like, man, this is ridiculous. And then you got Tyrone Bigums, the crackhead, on there, just eating away.
Yep.
Joe Rogan, this is not the first time I tasted penis. Taste penis all the time in my line of work.
Or what was it? It was that thing that he had to lay down in.
Yeah.
And everybody else was freaking out because, the bugs or... I can't remember exactly.
I think it was cockroaches, wasn't it?
Was it cockroaches or like some mice or something? Anyway, whatever kind of crazy thing it was in there, everybody was like, oh my God, I can't do it. And Tyrone Bigums just goes in there and is like, can y'all turn the lights off for me, please?
Just goes in there and takes a nap.
Yeah, just takes a nap.
He's used to that shit.
Yeah.
At the end, buys his girlfriend a big giant crack rock. They all lived happily ever after.
Yeah. It's like, this is going to get us high for hours, I know. They threw the $300,000 crack party or something like that. Yes. That was golden. Yes.
All right, Joe, what else you got?
Let's see. Next one is going to be The Mad Real World.
So.
Oh, God.
I watched The Mad World a little bit,
Yeah.
I wasn't huge into MTV, but I knew the basics of it. And watching The Mad Real World.
Yes, it took the idea of the real world and all the drama and everything around it and just it amplified it, but it made it so, I don't know, like authentic in a way. Like, can you picture this little white kid coming over into this house full of people from a whole different world than what he's used to and living there?
The beauty of so many Chappelle Show skits is it took white America and injected some hood into it.
Yes.
And a lot of times people didn't know how to react to it.
Nope.
But it was always just comedy gold.
Absolutely. It really was.
So speaking of injecting hood, my number 3 is the Wayne Brady skit.
Yes.
White people love Wayne Brady because he makes Bryant Gumbel look like Malcolm X.
Dude. And he nailed that because that is truly how people viewed Wayne Brady
at the time. Wayne Brady was so hot.
Yeah, Wayne Brady was, and nobody could picture. I think that was the beauty of it, was nobody could picture Wayne Brady as anything but that version of Wayne Brady. Like hey, just.
He was so wholesome.
Yes, and there you go.
That whole thing is true because white America loved Wayne Brady. Mm-hmm. And then he's just out there collecting prostitutes' monies. He's giving Dave Chappelle fucking angel dust.
Yes.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch? I mean,
y'all thank Dave. Thank you, Dave. Run, bitch, run.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh,
perfect.
Yes, dude.
And then
perfect.
You got Reparations.
Reparations was hilarious. Reparations was so damn... I could picture it.
Oh, yeah.
I could picture that kind of, just the way that he played that out and the goofiness of it. It was fucking phenomenal, man. It really was.
Yeah, so that skit is broken up into basically 2 parts, right?
Yeah.
It's a news broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
First part, they're interviewing Tron on the streets. He's now the richest man in the world.
Yeah, from shooting dice.
From a 6-hour dice game.
Yeah, hot-handed dice game, baby.
And then the second part is a guy who's kind of accustomed to white America now as the weatherman.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's rich, so now he's letting it all out.
Yeah, he no longer has to,
And both perspectives are just so funny.
Yes. It's fucking awesome. Spot on. What about you? What do you got?
Okay, so we got a couple of honorable mentions. The first one that stuck out to me was the spoof of the movie What Women Want. of what men want, where that woman's walking around and she can hear everything that men think all day.
Yeah.
And she's just appalled because it's a nightmare. Every dude she sees is just like,
I sure would like to get my hands on that.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Come back here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
And then you got racial draft as your honorable mention.
Oh, yes, that was great, dude. You know, the the Asian community drafted the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
The black people got Tiger Woods. Oh, gosh. There were so many good ones on that one.
For shizzle.
That's what, I waited so long to say this.
That's the most memorable part. Tiger Woods. For shizzle.
Yes. That's
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, obviously, there's a ton of other skits that are great from Chappelle Show.
You can go back and... I don't even want to say go back and watch them right now. I don't even know if Chappelle wants people to go back and watch them right now. He doesn't get paid for it. Maybe find it on like YouTube from somebody who's not affiliated with Comedy Central. That's how you should view it right now. Otherwise, he's missing out on money. So he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
We love you, Dave.
If you forgot any, go brush up.
Yeah.
It's well worth the time. So, Joe, this week we start talking about the Mandela Effect at work a little bit.
Yep.
So, basically, when I first heard of the Mandela Effect, I was like, that's the dumbest thing ever. People would rather think we transferred to another dimension than admit that, say, maybe I'm wrong. No, that can't be right. I clearly traveled to another dimension. I definitely was not wrong about my memories when I was 7 years old, right?
Yes.
But then you go down the list and you see one, and you're like, wait. No, that's not right. That is absolutely not right. And you find yourself getting heated over it. So, Joe, I know you've been doing a little more research on the topic. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I mean, basically you got the idea of it. Yeah, it's like large groups of people remembering certain things from history and from their past and stuff that when faced with it, it turns out that it's not even true. Like, everything that we all believe collectively as a group, that never really happened, you know? And then you're left with this thought of like, but no, that can't be. I remember it. That person remembers it. That person's, like we all remember this. And you're telling us right now that what we remember isn't real. And it's like, no. And so, this happened to somebody about the death of Nelson Mandela. A lot of people remember Mandela dying in the 80s in prison, and when they found out later on when he actually died, a lot of people were like, no, that's not right. He died back in the 80s. And it's like, no, he didn't. Hence the name, the Mandela Effect. And people started comparing things that they remembered in the past based on that idea. They're like, but I remember this. Like, one of the most popular ones is the Berenstain Bears. Everybody remembers it spelled Stein.
Yep.
But come to find out, no, we were all wrong. It was Stain, and just blows people's minds. So, I've been looking into this, and it's really fascinating to like find out things that you held such a strong view of and a strong belief in, and it's a load of crap. So, yeah.
So most of the list, I run down the list, and I'm wishy-washy on it, right? I'm like, well, I kind of remember it this way, but I'm not strong enough conviction. Like, I think that I remember it this way, but who knows, right? I was a kid. Maybe it was that way. I didn't pay any attention. Whatever. So then you're like going down the list, right? You're like Jif to Jiffy. I think their family just said Jiffy instead of Jif, okay? So they thought it was Jiffy. But then I get to something like the Fruit of the Loom logo doesn't have a cornucopia, right? I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Now it doesn't have a cornucopia. They got rid of it. No, it never had a cornucopia. And I'm like, the hell you say? I know there was a cornucopia in that logo. Shove it, right? So now you went from, hey, all these people are crazy, to now you're part of the crazy.
Yes.
Just like that.
And that's how it happens, too. Like, so many people, like, for me, okay, the idea of the Berenstain Bears one, when I heard it, I was like, no, I remember Stein.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm reading those books when I'm a child, you know? Obviously, I'm not paying that much attention to the spelling of it so much as what's in the book. I'm reading the book. I don't really focus so much on the title. So I didn't really put up that effort to be like, oh, no, it's the other way. That didn't hit me. But last night, when me and Brandy were listening to this podcast and they were discussing these things, they brought up the movie Shazam with Sinbad in it.
Yeah. That's
and
a hot one.
Yeah, me and her were both like, we remember this movie. We remember watching this movie. I remember watching it on HBO Max, or not HBO Max, obviously, at the time, but, I remember watching this so much. And then they're like, no, it never existed. And, for somebody to tell you that a memory from your childhood is not true and it's just a figment of your imagination, that hits a little bit hard.
So the theory on that is everybody always says, oh, you remember the Shaq movie, Kazam, right?
Kazam, yes.
So I don't remember watching Shazam. Mm-hmm. I do remember seeing the case for the movie at Blockbuster. Mm-hmm. But if I'm actually remembering Shaq Kazam, how come when I was little, I associated Sinbad with the genie, right? Exactly. When I would see Sinbad, I'm like, oh, that's the genie.
Yes. Yeah, and so many people do. And that's just one of those things where we all have to sit down and, do we just accept that we all have a false memory? Or, where does this leave us at? How do so many people have this imagery and this vivid detail of this movie? Like, they describe this movie in such detail, every point of the plot, and it's like, yes, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. No, you don't. It's fake. It's like, we'll take this shit outside right now. Don't you tell me that. So, what are the theories on why this is? I know some people think alternate dimensions that are closely, branched off in the tree. Right. Maybe you're traveling back and forth between alternate dimensions. Right.
I heard some time travel, possibly. Mm-hmm. Where you stand on that?
I'll be honest with you, I don't know where I stand on that. It's like you have the idea of alternate realities seeping over into our reality. And yeah, possibly one other thing that, me and Brandy discussed was what if the death of Mandela did happen back in the 80s and it had such a profound effect that somebody from the future came back in time to correct that so that whatever that led to never happened, and it just had this trickle down effect, like the butterfly effect, into where Sinbad's Shazam never even happened. So this memory that we all hold on to is just not real anymore. And I don't know, man. It's mind blowing though. It really is.
It's really intriguing.
Yeah, it really is. So you have the cornucopia, the Fruit of the Loom logo, naturally. Anything else for you?
One that stands out to me, like I said, most of them I can dismiss, even if I lean one way or the other. Mm-hmm. No strong conviction either way.
Right.
But We Are the Champions by Queen. Mm-hmm. At the end, there is no of the world to end the song.
Right.
So I know everyone I've ever listened to that song with belts that at the end.
Yeah.
Even though, and then they're like, wait, that's not there? Apparently not. I thought it was there. I know, was it car karaoke with James Corden?
Yeah.
When they sang it in the car, they all sing it, and then they stop, like, where's the lyrics to that at?
Right.
That's just how it is. It has to be from earlier in the song, I guess, that occurs. But yeah, that one really struck me as like, wait a minute. I'm very positive that was there.
Yeah.
Because another one I saw was people being taught when they were younger that there's 52 states instead of 50. That has to be regional as well. That has to be your school districts, including District of Columbia or maybe Virgin Islands or something.
Or something like that in there.
I don't want to call anybody stupid.
Yeah.
But one was Oscar Mayer baloney. Okay, so the song goes, my baloney has a first name. It's Oscar. My baloney has a second name. It's Mayer. So if you thought it was Meyer, you're just stupid. That's the end of that.
There is no other.
That never occurred. It was never Meyer.
No.
So I just saw that one. Had to address that. That was probably the worst one I saw.
Yeah. Some of those things I would read on there, I'm just like, no, you You're off in your own little special world.
Yeah.
That's not true. You know, another one that doesn't really get me that much, but I feel like a lot of people can identify with is the Star Wars Luke, I am your father. If you remember Darth Vader saying, Luke, I am your father, you don't remember that because that never apparently happened.
Yeah.
He just says, no, I am your father.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of those movie quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about Hello Clarice
yeah.
from Hannibal.
Never.
Yeah, that has to be just you impersonating Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know any lines.
Yes.
And you just want to make the voice.
Yes.
So you're like, what would he say? Hello Clarice.
Yeah.
And then the little thing or whatever.
Star Trek, beam me up Scotty.
Yeah.
Everybody knows beam me up Scotty. But why do we know it? Because he never said it once in that whole show. That was never uttered one time in that show. So where does it come from?
It has to just become like a pop culture thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just something that's said and it then gets repeated. And now everybody knows it even though it never actually happened.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So this is our season 1 finale. Thanks for sticking with us through the hurdles. I know we had some technology shortcomings, but you know we learned a lot.
Yeah, we did. I mean, let me be real with you guys. When we came up with this idea, it was almost like a passing idea that we had while we were discussing things at work, and we just took that idea and we ran with it. So if you saw this and you were like, "This is an unpolished shit show,"
Yeah,
guess what?
it is.
You are absolutely right. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we're kind of learning as we go.
Mm-hmm.
We have a general formula where we want one episode to be a competition with a punishment, and then the next episode to not be a competition.
right.
Generally, you know, we want the punishment to be funny, that hopefully draw in viewers, and then personality will get them to come back.
That's the hope right there.
Yeah.
One thing that we have discussed also is, look, if you come on here looking for any type of jackass material, like if you think that at the end of one of our challenges the loser is going to have to get his like balls stun gunned, you're on the wrong channel. There are a million other people you can find on YouTube that will satisfy whatever type of sick need you apparently have. So you probably want to go and look at them. This ain't it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, our punishments, they're going to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be pretty lighthearted.
Yeah.
We still want to win. We still want to win.
Yes. Yeah.
But now we're going to take a couple weeks off. We're going to try to polish it up a little bit. Hopefully come back stronger in season 2.
Yep. Yes. What about you, man? What kind of things you want to see in next season?
I mean, I feel like we came a long way.
Yeah.
Obviously, we still got farther to go. But if you guys have any suggestions for stuff we could do, possible punishments, not too crazy, but anything you want to see, drop them in the comments below.
Yes, yeah. Any type of ideas for, skits or challenges or anything, please feel free to post comments below here or, reach out to one of us, Instagram, whatever, find us on Twitter and that kind of thing. Twitter's not really even active right now, but that's coming soon too, so stay tuned for that.
All right.
It's difficult.
So this week, I leave you this. So America right now has a really bad problem with being able to take in new information and evolve their way of thinking. What they like to do is they like to take the very first thing they hear, which by definition is going to have the least amount of information, jump to a conclusion, and then discredit any new information that doesn't fall into their bias. So we need to normalize taking in new information and evolving your thinking. That's the mature way to go about things, right?
Yeah, yes.
If you want to find out if somebody's mature, just tell them that you voted the opposite way they did. And if they can carry a conversation with you, they're pretty mature. Because more often than not, it's going to devolve into name calling and just shouting. Nobody's going to listen to anything anybody has to say. Nobody's going to change the other person's mind. And frankly, it's embarrassing.
It really
that
is.
we can't take in new information and learn. We're just like, no. I heard immediately after the incident, this is what happened, or whatever. We have to be able to learn.
People will filter out the truths that come along with whatever, that they're discussing.
Yeah.
If it doesn't follow the narrative that they want.
Yeah.
And we can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to look at all different sides of the story to come up with a logical, realistic solution of what really happened.
Yeah. They'll just take new information. Oh, what? This doesn't agree with what I already think? Well, this is garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of this.
Mm-hmm.
Or find some way to nitpick it, try to discredit it, Garbage.
It's true.
Oh, shit, he's got a gun.
Oh, shit.